Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for joining us today to hear on the presentation of COVID-19 Housing and Public Benefits Laws. My name is Gulshan Yusufzai. I'm with MAS-SSF, Muslim American Society Social Services Foundation. We will go ahead and start with a dua by Brother Mukhtar Hussain from the MCF Senior Program.
नहमदुहु व नसल्ली अला रसूलिल करीम अम्मा बाद औज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम वलनब्लुवन्नकुम बिशैइन मिनल खौफि वल जु'i व नक्सिम मिनल अमवालि वल अनफुसि वस समरात वबश्शिरिस साबिरीन अल्लज़ीना इज़ा असाबतहुम मुसीबतुन क़ालू इन्ना लिल्लाहि व इन्ना इलैहि राजिऊन उलाइका अलैहिम सलवातुम मिर रब्बिहिम व रहमह व उलाइका हुमुल मुहतदून. And certainly we shall test you with something of fear, hunger, loss of wealth, lives and fruits, but give glad tidings to as-sabirin, who when afflicted with calamity say, truly to Allah we belong, and truly to Allah we shall return. They are the blessed and will have mercy from their Rabb, and it is they who are guided one. May Allah give us easy test, and we can only success from the test by the fazl of Allah. O Allah, make easy for all the world. O Allah, remove this pandemic from the world, and may Allah bless those who are doing good things for the people, who are serving the people. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ رَبِّ اجْعَلْنِي مُقِيمَ الصَّلَاةِ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي رَبَّنَا وَتَقَبَّلْ دُعَاءِ رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لِي وَلِوَالِدَيَّ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَوْمَ يَقُومُ الْحِسَابُ فاطر السماوات والأرض أنت ولينا في الدنيا والآخرة توفنا مسلما والحقنا بالصالحين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين وأفوض أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد. O Allah, we request you. O Allah, make easy for all of us. O Allah, make easy for all the world, and make Allah easy for those people who are serving other. May Allah reward those people who are serving other, and especially MAS and SSF who are doing good job for the seniors. And may Allah bless all the world, and may Allah remove this pandemic from the face of the earth. It is only we need your blessing. May Allah guide us to the right path. Subhanaka faqina azaban nar wa'fu anna waghfir lana warhamna anta maulana wansurna alal qawmil kafirin. Sallallahu ta'ala ala khair khalqi Muhammadin wa ali wa sahbi zurriyati ajma'in bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin.
Ameen. Thank you, Brother Mukhtar, for the dua. Now I'd like to call upon Brother Abdul Razak from the MCF program to do an official welcome and talk about the program, the senior program, and they have had for a long time at the MCF mosque.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, welcome assalam.
Walaikum salam. No. On behalf of MCF Seniors Forum, I am happy to welcome all the participants, sisters and brothers and sisters and all the participants. Particularly, I welcome Mr. Masao Taylor, Attorney of Legal Services of Northern California, and also I welcome Sister Gulshan Yusufzai and Sister Maha, Sister Anjum, and all the team members of MAS-SSF. And I pray Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to bless Brother Abdul Qadir, Brother Sister Sara, and all the volunteers who are helping us in organizing this program. The MCF Seniors Program, Seniors Group was started on 11th April 11, 2017. For the last 3 years, we have been making continuous efforts to expand the membership, to expand the activities. And when we started the group, there were only 5 members. And now, Alhamdulillah, with the grace of Allah, we have membership is more than 40. And many seniors are still we are attracting many seniors from not only from the local area, but also from the Greater Sacramento, Bay Area, and also from other states. So because of the activities we are doing, our activities include, we meet 2 days in a week, every Saturday and every Thursday. And we'll have, we meet in the masjid, but because of this COVID pandemic situation, lockdown situation, we have started meeting on Zoom, virtual meetings we are conducting, and people from, not only from the local area, but from Greater Sacramento, Bay Area and other states, they are participating actively and contributing for the conduct of the programs. Our focus of the meeting is socialization, and socialization, and we do collective worship, that is understanding, reading, studying and understanding Quran, tafsir and hadith, and seerah of the Prophet. And we have literary activities, collective worship, and then we will have health activities. For improving the physical health, we conduct group, see elders sit on chairs and do group activities, group health services, lighter exercises are required for senior people. And then we regularly organize, we also participate as volunteers in all the programs of masjid and also the school. And we organize short tours, field trips, visit to the parks, visit to the places of visitor importance, and we visit hospitals. We visited hospitals and contacted the patients, inquired their health. We gave them moral support. We pray for their early recovery. We also meet. We visit the senior homes. We visited the senior homes in Folsom area. We met them, we talked to them, we spent time with them, we exchanged some small gifts, goodie bags to them. And we spend a lot of time with the residents of the senior homes, and they felt happy. And we find there are some residents in these senior homes where nobody visits them, no visitor comes to them. They are very happy with the visit of our seniors to their senior homes. And we organize multiple visits to we have organized multiple visits to the prison. All the prisons in the Folsom, all the 3 prisons in the Folsom area, we met the inmates, and we arranged dining, we have lunch with them, along with them, we sat with them and we had lunch with them. We gave them moral support, and particularly after Eid, it is custom that all the family members meet. They do not have they are not allowed to meet their family members. So we went to them, we met them, we gave them some support, moral support. We inquired with them what are their needs. They needed some carpet, some blankets. We gave them blankets on behalf of the Muslim community of Folsom. We gave blankets, we gave carpets, we gave rugs, prayer mats, and also we gave some literature, books, and some CDs regarding the Islamic literature. Last month we have organized, after Ramzan festival, we have organized an Urdu poetry program called Mushaira, where people all the way from India, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Canada participated in the program and made it a very grand success. We actively participate in the quarterly events, quarterly senior events being conducted by MAS-SSF. They conduct these activities in different masajid in the area. We actively participate with them. We attend all the meetings and contribute our whatever we can do for the success of the program. Every month we organize programs. Today's program is one of those such programs. we invite influential people like Mr. Masao Talal. He is one of the activities. We invited him, and he is going to address us about this. And the purpose of inviting these people is that they give some valid information and resources and inputs and for the benefit of the seniors. And all these activities are aimed at towards helping our seniors to establish strong ties of brotherhood and sisterhood, increase our beneficial knowledge, share our experiences and mutual concerns. The ultimate goal is to aid seniors to become and have active involvement in the affairs of the community, and also see the improvement of quality of life. We are glad to see in this meeting participants from different masajid, not only from local area, from all the other, many of the other masajid people are there. I am happy to see them. I request them to form similar forums, similar seniors groups in their masjid, and start the group, start some activities. Inshallah, we will have a program including all the groups of the area, and we will have some common programs. Every month we will have some common programs with consultation. I would like to thank everybody who have come to participate in this function, and I also thank those who are making function become successful. And lastly, I end with my welcome with a dua with a supplication to Allah, the Lord of the universe, to lift this pandemic from the face of the earth and restore normalcy, restore peace, restore health to all the community all over the world. Thank you. Jazakallah khairan.
Thank you, Brother Abdul Razak. MCF Senior Program is a prime example of a great partnership that MAS-SSF has created and hope to achieve in every mosque moving forward. We will go ahead and now move to, I will go ahead actually and just give a brief overview of MAS-SSF and our services that we provide to the community. And let me go ahead and share my screen. Very quick reminder, as we are moving forward in our presentations today, please feel free to ask questions by going to the Q&A area, which is on the bottom of your screen, and posting your questions there. Anjum Kaval, our Al-Afia program manager, will be responding to you directly. You will also have the option of hitting the button of raising your hand right next to your name if you have questions, and later in the program we will unmute you to ask your questions as well. So you'll have two ways of asking questions during the program.
So I answered a question in the chat, so please look at the chats for my answers. So I'm not interrupting the program to answer live.
Thank you, Anjum. All right, so Muslim American Society Social Services Foundation.
Can I stop you for a sec? Can you please click a slideshow to play the slideshow?
Sure.
There's a slideshow tab.
Okay. Did I?
Yeah, after a home insert draw, there's a slideshow tab.
How about now?
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. All right, so MAS-SSF is an organization that started in 2007. We have, the purpose of this organization was to, the goal was to be able to help the community sustain the family unit and provide services to each of you when any challenges come about in life. We have 4 programs. I'm going to go ahead and skip to that very quickly here. We have our Shifa for Today peer counseling program, which is focused on providing you support with any challenges that you or your family members might go through. We have 42 counselors. We represent over 10 languages with a focus on Dari, Pashto, Arabic, Urdu. So please feel free to call us for live response Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. Otherwise, staff will respond to you as soon as possible. This service is very confidential. To make sure that any thing you reach out to us about is kept confidential. We do this by following the rules and regulations, Board of Behavioral Sciences, as well as making sure that when you do call, you will only be able to talk to one staff and then be connected to a counselor of your choice. And from there, you will just talk to the counselor and no one else. Our second program, which is today, is the Al-Afia for Seniors. That means Wellness for Seniors program. Started in 2015. The Amala Youth Helpline is our youth-focused program. It's a hotline, a warm line, a support line for you to talk, to reach out and talk to one of our Amala counselors. The line is open in the evenings, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 6 p.m. to 10. And we just recently added a text-in line, which means you can go ahead and text and start having conversations with our counselors. And our last program is the Community Education Program. The goal of the Community Education Program is to support the community understanding why it's so important to seek help in advance before it's too late. And what I mean by that is that sometimes if we do not take the time to go ahead and reach out for help, issues that we're dealing with in life can become quite difficult. So what we do is we present workshops on various topics to educate the community, such as parenting, bullying, how to raise your children in the US. We also do this in language. We're capable of providing this in English and 4 other languages, Urdu, Pashto, Dari, Arabic. And we also do trainings. One of our most effective and most popular trainings are the mental health first aid. It's a training that's certified in the US. We have Nasiba Sharif as a trainer who conducts this training. It's an 8-hour training. The goal of this training is to be able to learn how to seek and learn if a family member is going through any difficulties, you'll be able to learn how to understand the early signs so you could go ahead and get help for your family member. And we also have many other programs that are coming up in the communication. One of them is a live event. That is, the first one will be on July 3rd. And then we'll have it every Friday after that. And these will be in language, and the topic will be hope and wellness. We will have medical doctors from the community talk about how to take care of yourself during this difficult time, and have also, they will highlight the laws and regulations regarding COVID. And you'll be able to ask questions. We will have this, like I said, every Friday. So, and I will be putting up the flyer soon to highlight the dates and the speakers. Now, going back to what we're here for today, which is the Al-Afia for Seniors program. As I said earlier, it did start in 2015. The goal of this program is to prevent isolation and depression for the seniors in the community. We have short-term and long-term goals. Our short-term goal has been so far to hold senior days at as many mosques as possible. These senior days are a 5-hour program that consists of having an educational component to educate and create awareness on various topics to help our seniors not only educate themselves, but learn how to deal with the challenges of growing older. It's also, these topics generally also focus on the family unit to be able to support the seniors in the home because we are a collective community that work together and we want to sustain that for our well-being. We will also, one of our short terms is having a senior center, and inshallah, at this point, eventually when the program develops to the point where we have enough funding, we're hoping to have a community-based senior center where seniors could come and attend educational programs, play games, talk to each other, have tea, whatever it is that will help them to provide an environment and an opportunity to just connect with each other. And some of the activities in terms of short-term goals are physical activities, exercising, computer classes, ESL classes. These are some of the activities we hope to have in the upcoming future. Currently, of course, this has been made very difficult to do, but we'll figure out how we could accommodate the current situation. Workshops that we've had prior have been mostly very educational, and we've had bingo, which has been an extremely popular game for our seniors and their family members. And we've had senior days at Masjid An-Nur, Tarbiyah and Thomas, MCYC and Al Grove, Salam, and many other mosques. And we hope to continue to do this, not only at mosques, but any community center that would like to have us do senior days. All right, I'm gonna switch. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm going to just quickly take a moment. Brother Abdul Razak has done a wonderful job of showing appreciation to all the team members here, but I wanted to just make sure that I take a moment and express appreciation on behalf of MAS-SSF, first and foremost to MCF Senior Group, Abdul Razak, Brother Mukhtar, all of the senior group members, Sarah, Ahmed, Abdul Qadir, Muhammad Abdul Qadir, for working with MAS-SSF to teach us about their program and to present an ideal example of what we can do in any other mosques. Also in terms of our Al-Afia team, we have Anjum Kaval, who is the program manager, Maha Iyad, Aziza Ahmed, Sabanaz, and Rasul Ramani, who do this as volunteers and make sure that these programs are successful and are able to bring senior days to the community quarterly. And of course, Arwa Hori, who's our marketing consultant and our technical lead, has been extremely helpful. Also, I want to thank you as participants for taking the time this Saturday morning to join us and learn about the various topics related to seniors and how we could support them, and as well as how to ask for any, to be able to go ahead and just learn about the topic that we will have presented today. All right, so with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and now introduce our speaker, Masao Taylor.
Anjum wanted to say something.
Sure, Anjum, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that thank you all for attending. I just wanted to say that this is our first event on Zoom, and so we're learning from it. So if you have any suggestions on how we can make it better, how we can add some fun activities, please let us know. We really want your input in putting these programs together. Thank you.
Thank you, Anjum. All right. Thank you for bearing with me as I switch screens here. All right, so we have Masao Taylor, who is a staff attorney with the Senior Legal Hotline, which is a special project of Legal Services of Northern California. And Northern California, that Northern California, Legal Services of Northern California is a nonprofit law firm that provides free legal services to clients experiencing poverty or are otherwise from vulnerable population. Masao has been with LSNS since July of 2017. He attended UC Davis for law school and UC Santa Cruz for undergrad. I would like to go ahead and have Masao conduct this presentation. Thank you, Masao, for taking your time to join us today and to provide this very wonderful presentation.
Great, thank you so much for having me. Okay, so my name is Masao Taylor again. Hope everyone is staying healthy and doing well during these times. I'm going to try and share my screen. Give me 1 second here. And
yes.
Can you hear me?
Just 1 second.
Yes, we could hear you. I need to stop my screen, so give me a moment.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. And if anyone has any questions at all at any point during the presentation, please interrupt me or message the question and answer page so I can definitely answer those at any point. So today we're going to be going over 2 areas of COVID-19 updates. The 2 areas are going to be housing and public benefits. And the public benefits section are going to be mainly focusing on unemployment insurance and how some federal legislation has increased a lot of the amount of unemployment you can get during this period of time. So to start, we're going to start with housing. And the main question here is, can landlords evict renters from their homes during the COVID-19 pandemic? And the easy answer currently is no. As of April 6th, there's a new court rule that basically prevents any courts from starting an eviction lawsuit against any tenant until 90 days after the governor lifts the COVID-19 declaration of emergency. So if anyone remembers, back in March, Governor Newsom passed a declaration of emergency in order to protect people against the coronavirus. And he has not said when he's going to lift that declaration of emergency at this point. No one has any idea when that's going to happen. I guess for reference, if people remember the campfires, so the Paradise Fire, that declaration of emergency lasted for about a year. So we really have no idea like how long this is going to last for. So this law basically prevents any tenants from being evicted until 90 days after the governor lifts that declaration of emergency. And that is on top of the fact that the Sacramento County Courthouse is currently closed until July 10th. So even if a landlord did want to try and file an eviction against a tenant, that would not be possible at this point because the court's not accepting new filings until at least July 10th, and that likely will be extended. Or so I shouldn't say likely, it may be extended. So just to take a few steps back, the general process, if folks aren't aware of how a landlord will go about evicting a tenant, is a landlord first has to give some type of eviction notice to the tenant. And that could be either a 3-day notice or a 10-day notice sometimes, a 30-day notice, or a 60-day notice. And generally after those, if the notice expires, meaning if the tenant is still living in the unit after that timeline expires, the landlord can then file a lawsuit against them in civil court called unlawful detainer. And that's basically a fancy word for the eviction process. And that's how that process all gets started. Once the landlord files the lawsuit, the landlord has to serve the tenant with those court documents, and then the tenant has a right to file what's called an answer, which is basically their response to the lawsuit. But here, because of the law I just talked about previously, the court is not even going that route. They're not starting the cases until 90 days after the state of emergency expires. So that's the cutoff point currently, and that's going to be the cutoff point until the court or either removes that rule or the state of emergency is lifted. So can your landlord still give a 3-day notice or other notice terminating your tenancy? Yes, in most cases, your landlord can still do that, right? You can still get a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit. You can still get a 3-day notice to perform covenant or quit. You can still get a 30 or 60-day notice. But ultimately, if your landlord can still serve you these notices, but your landlord can't do anything or act on them after these notices expire. So that's the main thing to keep in mind. But the main point is you don't want to ignore those notices if you were to get one of those, because it's very important that you may waive some legal rights if you don't do anything about them. So for example, if you get a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit, even though your landlord cannot immediately evict you based on that notice, you still want to pay the rent if you can, right? That's the best way to protect yourself. And if you ever get served with any of these notices, definitely call our office because we can advise you on what your next step should be in this case, because times are changing really fast right now, and it's best to call us so we can advise you with the most current information. So the next question is, are there any other protections for those who have lost income due to COVID-19? And the answer is yes. I'm not sure if any of you have heard about these eviction moratorium that have been passed in several of our counties and cities, but they mainly are very similar. Some cities and counties have passed them to prohibit landlords from evicting tenants based on non-payment of rent. And that basically means that landlords cannot file an eviction based on non-payment of rent. So in order to be protected by these laws, you have to live obviously in a county or city with these laws, and I'll go into I believe I have a list of the areas. Yes, so the city of Sacramento has an eviction moratorium along with the Rancho Cordova, Elk Grove, and unincorporated parts of Sacramento County. Elk Grove has already expired, but the other 3 are still ongoing, and they expire on July 30th, 2020 as of now, but those could be extended. And I'm going to go into details about those laws right now. So each law is a little bit different, but the basics are the same generally. So they generally protect tenants who have either gotten sick with COVID-19, needed to care for a household member or family member with COVID-19, got laid off or lost hours because of COVID-19, was told to stay home because of COVID-19, or had to miss work to care for a homebound school-age child. So if any of those factors apply to you, and you can't afford your rent, or even if you can, I think it would be a good idea to qualify for this law. And I'll go into how you qualify, how you submit the evidence to qualify for this law in a bit. So I'll skip this slide because Elk Groves has already expired, so it doesn't really matter anymore. But in order to prove that you're protected by this law, you have to notify your landlord in writing before rent is due. So for example, if you don't think you can afford to pay your August rent upcoming or your July rent upcoming before the rent comes due, so before July 1st or before August 1st, you want to notify your landlord that you cannot afford to pay this upcoming month's rent. You need to give your landlord proof of the reason that you can't afford to pay this rent. And the proof I will go into on the next slide. And you want to pay as much of the rent as you are able. So these are the minimum requirements that I believe all of the laws require, but some of them are a little bit different. So definitely call our office if you want advice preparing for this. We can definitely answer those questions. So the proof, you want to send something in writing to your landlord. It could be an email, it could be a letter, it could be a text message, and you want to keep a copy for your own records. And you want to do that before the rent is due. And let me see. Yeah, so the local laws all require, like I said, that you have to submit written documentation of the reason you cannot pay rent due to COVID-19. And some examples are like a job termination notice or letter, your bank statements, paychecks, pay stubs showing your decrease in income, a statement from your doctor saying that you should stay at home or self-quarantine because of your of getting sick, or a letter from your employer basically explaining like what happened, like, oh, I had to let you go because we weren't getting enough business due to COVID-19, or the government ordered us to shut down, so I had to let all my employers go or employees go, something like that. So I'm gonna pause there. Does anyone have any questions about any of that information before I move on? Okay, great. So there's also federal protections against eviction currently. On March 27th, the government passed what's called the CARES Act, and that was a huge law that did a bunch of different things. But the relevant thing for us is that it also added a protection against evictions for non-payment of rent in certain contexts. So it's kind of similar to the local laws that I've been talking about, the local laws in Sacramento County and Sacramento City. But it's a little bit different in that it only applies to housing that is has some type of federal subsidy. So Section 8 housing, folks with Section 8 vouchers, public housing, low-income housing tax credit housing, those are all government housing programs that are intended for folks with reduced income. So those programs are all covered by this law. Or rent, if you're a tenant who rents from this is a little bit confusing, so I apologize in advance, but if you're a tenant who rents from a landlord whose home or apartment has a federally backed loan or a federally backed mortgage loan, then you are also covered. And what that means is if the property you're renting is backed by like a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac mortgage, or a VA mortgage or a USDA mortgage less commonly, then this new law also applies to you. And as a tenant, it's a little bit difficult to get that information, but you would have to either get that information from your landlord or check the recorder's office, which is who would have the mortgage documents recorded. So if you are covered by this law, then you basically cannot be evicted for 120 days after, I believe it was April 7th. So it gives you a little bit more time to pay off your rent. You're still required to pay what you can each month. And if your landlord won't accept the partial rent, you should save it. Because with both of these laws, either the local laws or the federal laws, you're going to eventually have to pay it off as soon as these laws expire. And your landlord is not going to be in a good mood, I don't think, because they've had to go without rent for a while now, or not full rent for a while now. So you're going to want to save, you're going to want to make sure that you can pay off all the rent once it comes due. In the local, for the local eviction moratorium, the deadline for the rent to be paid is 90 days after July 30th, I believe. And that is, so you want to make sure to have that money when that time comes, if you're going to be applying for this law. So if you're served with an eviction notice or an eviction court papers, you want to, if you can, pay the rent within the 3 days. That's the best way to protect yourself. If you cannot pay, you want to, like I said, write to your landlord again and explain why, and include your written documentation from either your employer or your doctor, which said that you can't work or you lost hours because of COVID-19. And if you are served court papers for an eviction, which should not be happening right now, but if you see this, definitely call our office because we can advise you on how to prepare and to respond. If you ignore the court papers, this could lead to an eviction, and we definitely do not recommend you doing that. Okay. Does anyone have any questions on that before moving on? Okay, great. So this last part of housing, this is the CARES Act also gives foreclosure protections. So this part is for any homeowners out there. So the CARES Act, again, only applies to homeowners who have some type of federally backed mortgage loan. And what that means is that they're handled by Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, or the or let's see, I have a list actually. Yeah, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, HUD, the FHA, the VA, the USDA. Those, if you have a mortgage handled by one of those organizations, then the CARES Act applies to you. And you can check that by getting your documents from the recorder's office. That information will usually be there, or you might just know it already, because most of the time you'll know if you have one of these types of mortgages. And just for context, 70% of people have a mortgage that is covered by the CARES Act, and only 30% don't. So the odds are that you do have a mortgage covered by the CARES Act. So if this law applies to you, mortgage servicers cannot start a judicial or non-judicial foreclosure. So basically any foreclosure to seek a foreclosure judgment or order of sales. So just for folks who don't know, the way foreclosure happens is if you're behind on your monthly mortgage payments, your mortgage servicer can give you a notice of default, which is basically saying that you are short on the mortgage. And then you have, I believe it's a 90-day period to pay off that money. And if you don't pay it off after those 90 days, your servicer can initiate what's called can start the process for a foreclosure sale, which is basically if you can't afford to pay off that amount within the 90 days, your servicer can then post a notice of trustee sale, which is when the servicer is putting your house up for sale in order to pay off the money that you owe. So obviously that's the worst case scenario. We don't ever want to see that. But if you're protected by this law, the mortgage servicer cannot do that, cannot do any of those steps during this period. They're also required to offer you a forbearance plan of up to 180 days. So that basically means that they have to let you not pay your monthly mortgage for up to 180 days. And in order to be eligible, you have to have some type of financial hardship caused by directly or indirectly by COVID-19. So that means that you can apply for this and say, I can't afford to pay right now because I'm experiencing some type of financial hardship caused by COVID-19. And then your servicer cannot charge you your monthly mortgage payments for up to 180 days. So basically 6 months. And then you're also entitled to request an extension for up to another 180 days. So basically a year pause to give you time to save up money to pay off your mortgage. Now, the issue with that is a forbearance is not a forgiving, right? You still owe the mortgage money. It's going to add up as well. It's just they're not allowed to charge interest on it, and they're not allowed to start any foreclosure process against you until you're done with that period. So you want to be able to, you're going to need to pay off the money eventually whenever your forbearance period is up, but at least it'll give you some time to get that money together. And the duration of this law is through the end of the COVID-19 emergency or December 31st of this year, whichever is earlier. Okay, so does anyone have any questions on the housing part of this before I move on? No, okay, great. So moving on to public benefits update during this COVID-19 period. So first of all, I'm going to go over just the standard unemployment insurance benefits because there's been a huge influx of these applications during this period of time, understandably so, but it's good for everyone to understand who is eligible for unemployment. So the eligibility requirements are that you have previous work, and that means you've earned enough wages during a 12-month period to establish a claim. And if you're curious as to what that means, you'll have to you'll actually want to start the application so that they'll determine whether you've made enough money over the past 12 months to get unemployment. The second requirement is that you're unemployed through no fault of your own. Third, that you're physically able to work. Fourth, that you're available to work. And fifth, that you're ready and willing to accept work immediately. So those are the 5 requirements to be eligible for unemployment insurance. And in order to stay eligible for unemployment insurance, and unemployment is paid off weekly, so you'll get a weekly payment every week. But in order to get that weekly payment, you need to certify each week, 1, that you're physically able to work, 2, that you're available to work, 3, that you're ready and willing to accept work immediately. And 4th, there's a COVID-19 exception currently that there's no requirement to search for work each week to be eligible. And normally that is one of the requirements, but because obviously it's really difficult to find work right now and no one wants, a lot of places are closed and not letting people come into work, there's that requirement is waived. And the amount you'll get if you do qualify ranges from $40 to $450, and that just depends on your past employment and how much money you made during that period of time. Okay, so moving on to the COVID-19 additions to unemployment insurance. So the first program we're going to be talking about is Pandemic Unemployment Compensation, or PEUC. So this program is basically just an extra $600 per week to individuals who are already receiving regular unemployment insurance. So if you qualify for regular unemployment insurance, this is a means to get unemployed folks more money than just the normal unemployment amount. So you'll be getting $600 per week if you qualify for regular unemployment insurance, and that lasts until July 25th, 2020. The first payment of that should have been April 12th, 2020. And my understanding is that they should have automatically enrolled you in this if you did qualify for regular unemployment insurance. And if that didn't happen, then definitely call our office because we can advise you on that. That should have been an automatic enrollment. Okay, so the next program, so in order to be eligible for PEUC, is, like I said, anyone getting regular unemployment insurance, and then anyone receiving these programs listed here, they're kind of smaller unemployment programs, not as familiarly used, but anyone receiving these as well gets that $600 bonus each week.
Masao, I have a question.
Sure.
The first slide, can you please go back to the first slide on unemployment, and
yes.
Who would be, yeah, so I just wanted to verify who would be, what does it constitute to receive unemployment under the COVID-19 situation?
Or what do you mean by that?
Somebody who is physically able to work, but has not been able to get job. Mm-hmm. And even before, somebody who the situation didn't start exactly during the COVID situation, mm-hmm. It started before. Can you still apply for unemployment?
Yes, absolutely. This is not limited to COVID-19, the COVID-19 period. This is just regular unemployment insurance. So this would have applied to anyone before COVID-19 or anyone after it, as long as you meet these requirements.
You have to have, what if you were self-employed?
Mm-hmm. So if you're self-employed, they created a new separate unemployment program specifically for this COVID-19 period. And I'll explain that in a bit. I have a couple slides on that after.
Right. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Okay. Oh, and I forgot one thing on the additional $600 a week. So that ends on July 25th, but it could be extended. I think Congress is debating on what to do next currently. Okay. So this is another new COVID-19 unemployment insurance program. It's called the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation, PEUC for short. It allows for an additional 13 weeks of payment in addition to the normal 26 weeks of standard unemployment insurance. So standard unemployment, you only get it for 26 weeks. After that, you're cut off. But because of what's going on, they added another 13 weeks. So you'll get another 13 weeks of your normal, your regular weekly benefit. And that also, they should also automatically enroll you in that as well. So you shouldn't have to do anything. But if you are able to get through on their phone line, which is understandably difficult right now, you should follow up to make sure that they are actually going to be paying you 13 additional weeks on top of your 26. So PEUC eligibility, you have to be fully or partially unemployed on March 29th, 2020 or after. You have to have received all of your benefits on the claim that you started on July 8th, 2018 or after. And you can't qualify for any unemployment insurance in California or any other state. You have to meet all of the unemployment insurance eligibility requirements, of course, because it's just an extension of your normal unemployment. And California, like I said, is required to identify people who are eligible for PEUC, and they have to give you written notice of your eligibility. And the benefit amount is the same as your regular unemployment insurance claims. So this is what your question was about. So pandemic unemployment assistance. So this is another new program that was passed just recently. It's intended to cover people who are not normally covered by unemployment insurance. So for example, if you're self-employed, if you have your own business, those people are usually not covered by regular unemployment insurance. But Congress recognized that and said, we want to do something about that. So if you are unemployed, partially employed, unable to work, or unavailable to work due to COVID-19 related reason, and you meet one of the following. So you have to meet one of those categories, but also if you're a business owner, self-employed worker, independent contractor, or gig worker, and are not participating in the UI elective coverage program. And the UI elective coverage program, just to be quick, is a program where if you're a business owner, if you're self-employed, independent contractor, you can choose to pay some of your wages each month or to this program, so that if you do lose employment, you are covered by those payments that you made. But if you don't, and most people don't choose to do that, because why would you want to give up some of your wages? So most people don't do that. So this law is meant to protect those people. So the other prong is, or if you don't have sufficient work history, meaning you don't have enough wages reported as an employee during the last 18 months for a regular unemployment insurance claim, then this law will apply to you. And then generally these folks who are covered by this portion of it are not covered by the standard unemployment insurance. Okay, does anyone have any questions about any of that? Okay, so for the PUA, which again is the special program for folks who are generally not covered by unemployment insurance, for those folks, you can still work and be eligible for PUA as long as you're earning less than what you did prior to COVID-19. So for example, if you're a restaurant owner and you've had to close, you've only been able to do takeout, and you've had to cut down your hours, and et cetera, and obviously the money coming in has decreased significantly, but you're still making some type of money, you can still be eligible for PUA. It's just your benefit amount will be decreased by however much you're making. So you won't be making as much from the benefit as if you were completely not working at all, but you'll still get something. And as of now, the benefits will stop after December 31st, 2020, unless it's extended. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have for you today. If you have any questions, we have a dedicated page on our website. I would recommend folks write it down. It has a lot of helpful information ranging from COVID-19 health updates, so like Medi-Cal, Medicaid, different health programs, Housing, like I discussed today, public benefits, those are our 3 main coverage areas. And that our website right there has all of our updates and it's updated pretty routinely. Also, we have an intake system. So if you have any specific personalized legal questions about any of this stuff, feel free to give our office a call. I'm only able to give non-personal kind of general legal information in the presentations like these. But if you call our office and we can open a case for you, we can give you more personalized legal advice on your specific situation, and we can apply your facts to the laws that are available. So if you have any questions like that, give our office a call at this number, 916-551-2140. We have an intake system that's basically a first come, first served system, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. We're closed for intakes on Wednesday. Our phones open at 8:30 a.m. in the morning, and I recommend that you call either a little bit before 8:30 or right at 8:30 to get on our list, because they do fill up pretty quickly. And if you get on our list for the day, you'll get a call back from one of our attorneys or advocates to speak that same day. So recommend you doing that if you have any questions. Like I said, we answer housing questions, public benefits questions, or health questions. We have a designated health team. We also have a pension project, which can assist with any retirement related questions. And this number is the gateway to all of it. And let's see, was there anything else? Oh yeah, so for our health program, our pension program, and our senior program, as long as you're 60 or over, we don't have any eligibility requirements. You automatically qualify. And for our health program, it's actually, we don't have any income eligibility requirements, period. And I don't think we have any age requirements either. So if you have any health related questions, definitely call our health program. But for our regular housing and public benefits programs, if we have certain eligibility requirements related to income, so just be aware of that. And again, for our seniors program, as long as you're 60 or over, it doesn't matter how much money you make. And then for any questions about unemployment insurance, we have a sister program that handles those. It's called the Voluntary Legal Services Program, and that number is right here. And their intake works basically the same as ours. So does anyone have any questions before I hand it off? Great, okay.
All right, thank you, Masao, for that very helpful and timely presentation. Before going into actual Q&A, I wanted to just mention to the participants that we are recording this, as you probably, when you entered this webinar, have seen, and we will have this available on our website for you to access. Also, I just want to mention a couple of things. I did forget to thank Mahayad, as she's part of our Al-Afia for seniors program. So I just wanted to mention that. Also, for our upcoming events, I wanted to just share the flyer with you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. All right, just our upcoming live events. It's called Returning to Normal Life, Safety and Self-Care Practices. These are virtual live webinars that will be every Friday evening, 6 to 8:30 p.m. As I said earlier, we have invited medical doctors who will be talking about safety and self-care practices. And the most, I think, unique and useful part of these presentations is that it will be in language. So the first Friday is in Dari. Second Friday will be, which is July 10th in Pashto, July 17th, Arabic, July 24th, Urdu. So I do encourage you to please visit our website, register, and attend these upcoming live webinars. Also, a couple of more things here. We also have had to very quickly adjust to the situation with COVID, and we have made sure that all our 4 programs, counseling, community education, Al-Afia, and Amala, are all online, so you're able to access it very easily. In terms of our senior program, we have a senior hotline currently that you can reach out for any support you might need. And we also have our telecounseling, which you could call 916-486-8626 and ask for help in English or any language that you're comfortable with. Amala Youth Hotline is our support line, that's Amala Youth Helpline. Then we have our virtual communication efforts that we've made. Specifically, we have videos that we focused on, very short videos you could access by going to YouTube and just putting in MAS-SSF. And we have topics that are provided to you in English, Arabic, Urdu, Dari, and Pashto. The topics include how to protect yourself from COVID-19, coping with COVID-19 and self-care practices, strategies, Islamic reasoning, how to strengthen your immunity, and our recent one that came out this week, how to deal, unfortunately, with grief. And these videos are available to you to access in language by just visiting YouTube. I do encourage you to visit our website, MAS-SSF.org. Look us up on Facebook or Instagram for our programs and most updated information. Also, you can go to our website and subscribe to receive our weekly blogs. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead, and if anyone has a question, you're welcome to put it in the Q&A box that's on the bottom of your screen, or click, go to your participant name on the right side will be raise a little hand that you could click on, and we could unmute you for any questions you would like to just ask directly and not write it in the Q&A. So Anjum, go ahead if there are any questions.
No questions currently.
All right, let me just.
I don't have any questions. Are there any comments, any suggestions of how we can make this better? I would also like to have some feedback on how we can make this fun. I would like to introduce a fun component to this, but I'm not sure how to do this. We're planning to have a little stretch session after just a 5 minutes of stretching session after this. So if there, please go ahead and put your comments, any questions that you may have before we go there.
Sister, one question I have regarding coronavirus stimulus check. Can Taylor can reply you for that?
Yes, I'm not seeing the question though. Where would I see?
Well, I can't write, but I can ask if you are listening my voice. And there was stimulus check. Those people, where they should contact? They have not received the stimulus check of $1,200 so far.
Okay. So it depends on your situation. In order to qualify for the stimulus, you have to have either filed a 2018 or 2019 tax return. And if you did, you should automatically get the stimulus check mailed to you. You shouldn't have to do anything affirmatively to do that. I understand they do take a while, and I know some people that haven't received that yet. So I don't think it's that strange. But if in order for me to give you like a better answer, like look into your actual information, I would have to open a new case with our office. So I would have to have you call our phone number to do that.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
But that was in paper file, not electronically. So it takes time, I think so.
Brother Mukhtar, did you have another question at the end, or was it just a comment? Okay, good.
We have somebody who raised his hand, Brother Hussein. Brother Hussein, do you want to ask your question?
He's muted, I think.
Yeah.
I allowed him,
Okay.
but he needs to unmute himself.
Okay.
Maybe you can unmute him, Arwa?
I cannot unmute him. He has to go to the bottom of the screen and unmute. Yeah, he's fine now.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Brother Hussein.
Yeah. This stimulus payment of $1,200, is it one-time payment or will be repeated again? Is it supposed to be repeated again or what?
So it's a one-time payment for now. I think Congress is debating on whether to have another one, but as of now, it's only a one-time payment.
Did that was that helpful, Brother Hussein?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Abdul Khader. I just want to, Sister Gulshan, so we are going to have a monthly webinar, right, on more topics, the topics we discussed for the future.
Yes. Thank you for that reminder, Brother Abdul Qadir. Yes, we will have this webinar once a month on the fourth Saturdays at the same time on other topics that are relevant to our community and their families. So please be on the lookout for other topics that we will be providing to you. And if there are any topics you'd like to suggest, you are welcome to email us at info at MAS-SSF, mas-ssf.org, and request topics that you think would be helpful to the community. Any other questions, any comments? We'd love to hear from you, as Anjum said, about how can we make this fun. Previously, when we had senior days, we had games, we had lots of activities right after the presentation, and I think everyone really was looking forward to that, as well as receiving gifts, right? So right now it's hard to receive gifts since we're all attending virtually, but we'd love to hear comments about how can we make this fun.
And we're actually talking about gifts and maybe providing links to like Amazon cards or something in the Zoom call. So tell us what kind of games or activities we should have and how, and if you would be, if there would be other cards besides Amazon or cards that you would like to receive. Maybe that would be our gift ideas.
Great point. Yeah. What kind of gift cards would be useful other than Amazon? It seems Amazon is just taking over everything nowadays, but what gift cards would be useful? What would be helpful?
So it'll have to be something that we can send in a link. So we still need to explore what merchants would allow us to send you gift cards in a link. But if you have any ideas, we're open to ideas. And like I said, we would really like to make this fun, not just informational, but actually we would like you to have fun. We look forward to these meetings, come together in these meetings, have some social interaction in these gatherings also. So please tell us, give us your ideas. Like Gulshan said, send us your ideas, please.
So Anjum, we have a question in the Q&A if you'd like to access that and read it out loud, or I think Maha wants to, please.
Yeah, Maha, please answer that question. The question is, would the audience be interested in having the mental health first aid training?
And to remind you, that is the training to be able to understand the early signs of an individual going through difficulties in life.
Or topics on mental health and wellness, any other topics on mental health and wellness. Is that something you're all interested in?
Maha?
Actually, this is, I would ask Nasiba Sharif, if you can mute her, Arwa, to answer, since she is the instructor for this topic.
I unmuted her. She just needs to unmute her audio to talk.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So I don't know if you'd like me to share a brief summary of what it is, but Gulshan already has. Or I welcome any questions if there are any specific questions about the training. This training is now is going to be offered very soon virtually, meaning this training used to be an in-person training, an 8-hour training. Now, because of our current situation, the developers of this training are providing online virtual version, which is a shorter time. It's 6.5 hours. This training basically provides very basic information, but it's very basic and simple, but so crucial and important. This training teaches about the typical signs of mental illness, such as depression and anxiety, or people grieving, or maybe individuals who may be showing signs of substance abuse. So without the information, without that specific information, typically people miss recognizing the signs and getting help early on. But after this training, people typically are able to recognize and know, they learn how to approach a person who is struggling in a non-judgmental way, in an effective way. I think that without specific information, typically we may see that people are acting differently. And when we try to have a conversation about what's going on, we oftentimes impact or make the situation worse. So I highly encourage everyone, really. I think anybody in our community should have this training to learn more, but also so that they're able to help their loved ones or friends or family members if they start noticing that there is a problem. And they can help them in a very effective way. So if there are any other specific questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just interested to see if people are interested in this training or not. And if not, that's okay.
Nasiba, can you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Nasiba. Let me see. I'm sharing video so you can see me. My name is Nasiba Sharif, and I'm one of the co-founders of MAS Social Service. Really started when I personally needed help and support for me as an individual, but also for my family. As an immigrant, we often struggle with things that are pretty common, right? Parenting, lack of support, living in a new culture. So I personally started struggling with anxiety. And so my involvement with SSF is really to be there and support each other in our community, because we often struggle with the same issues. And then from there, I decided that I wanted to get more training and education and really continue to learn and continue to share information. I currently work in my private practice. I am a therapist by profession, and but my passion is with the nonprofit organization, because we can impact individuals in a greater greater way. We can impact more people than I do in my individual practice, working with one person at a time or one family at a time. And my passion is really in increasing awareness and reducing stigma about mental illness and wellness. So this is the reason that I do what I do. And I've received a training to be able to provide this particular training, the mental health first aid and the youth mental health first aid, to our community. So I hope people take advantage of that.
And Nasiba, you're a board member also. Would you please tell us what you do on the board?
Okay. Well, I'm the vice president on the board, and I also am co-chair of the community education committee and also the counseling committee.
Thank you. As you can see, Nasiba has many roles in MAS-SSF, and she is a very, very valued member of MAS-SSF. Thank you, Nasiba, for all you do.
Thank you. You're very well. Thank you for everybody, to everybody else for everything that you do. I'm so happy to see, to be able to actually attend the senior event. It just really warms my heart that we're able to continue to have these sessions online, and that the members are growing, mashallah. When I heard that earlier, it was announced that, the membership was, I don't remember the number, but is growing to 40 participants. Mashallah, that's wonderful. It's great support. It's great prevention. This is the platform to really support one another and share valuable information. This information we just heard, we're hoping that we can provide that same information to different groups. And we started talking about that actually with Maha. So.
I have a question on here. It says, please say your helpline number at the end. If people taking notes, they can write them down. I think this is for Nasiba. Is this for Nasiba, or I'm not sure who this is for? Nasiba or Gulshan? Gulshan, what is our helpline number? For Nasiba.
The number for Nasiba. Okay.
So what are you referring to exactly? Is it regarding the training?
Saba, is this regarding training? What helpline for what?
Do you want to get Sister Naz on?
Yes. Can you unmute me, please?
Sister Naz, you can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question.
Mute myself. Just a helpline, so people who are taking notes, they can write it down. Sometimes it's easier for them to go back to their notes.
Which helpline are you referring to, sister? Is it the Amela helpline? Is it the SSF call line?
We also have a senior hotline, so maybe we could list out all these lines.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So for the senior hotline, it's 1-855-550-7877. Again, 1-855-550-7877. And you could call this line for any support that you need as a senior or anyone who's facing difficulties during this time. We at MAS-SSF are connected to all the mosques and many other support and resources within the Muslim and non-Muslim community to be able to provide you services and connect you to resources. I would like to, after I'm done with listing out the other lines we have, I would like to have Abdul Qadir talk for a few minutes about the senior hotline. It is a hotline that we're collaborating efforts with MCF again. And so our second line is our telecounseling line. So this is where you could call us if you want to talk about challenges you're going through, you have an issue that you're facing within your family, or you just need help with resources, again, even with this line with COVID. And that is open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The phone number you can call is 916-486-8626. Again, 916-486-8626. Right when you call, we'll have a staff member pick up the phone, answer your question, connect you to an individual who speaks your language, or you could just talk to the staff person. Our next line is the Amala Hope Line. And let me go ahead. 1 second. It's 855 Amala. And that is open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 6 p.m. To 10 p.m. This is where youth counselors have been trained for 30 hours in order to be able to support you as youth or any youth that you know of. And in terms of our communication education, we don't have a support line, but like I said earlier, we have videos on Facebook, on YouTube. Actually, YouTube would be the main place. You just go in, put MAS-SSF, and you could access any of our topics in English and other languages to be able to learn more about how to take care of yourself. All right, so those are our lines, and now I'd like to ask if Abdul Qadir could talk about the senior hotline for a few minutes, if that's all right.
Actually, I'll speak on that.
Go ahead, Sarah. Thank you.
Sure. So this hotline, was created when the quarantine, the lockdown started. Initially, we wanted to make sure that any seniors that are stuck at home would have difficulty reaching out to find how to get help in grocery pickup, medicine pickup, just in generally going out. So that's why this was started, and we have a group of volunteers that when you reach out for any of these kinds of things, we will connect you to our volunteer who will be able to help you pick up your groceries or pick up your medicines. We added a couple of more things where you could also reach out if you needed any digital help online, so they'd be able to help you with that. And also, if you just needed a chance to talk to someone, if you were feeling lonely, sitting at home, and this has been quite a long time where people have been sitting at home, not connecting. So we decided we'd offer that as well. So these 4 things we offer through this hotline, and you can reach out to us at any time, and we can connect you to someone who can help in any of these ways.
Thank you, Sister Sarah, for that helpful information. Anjum, any other questions or comments?
I would just like to thank, we're at 12:30. I would like to thank everybody who participated, all the attendees, Masao, Hadley, Brother Mukhtar, everybody at at MCF, and then Gulshan and my Al-Afia team. I would like to thank Maha, who does a wonderful job with communicating with speakers and just keeping us going. My other team members are Aziza Ahmed, Rasul, Sabah, and Gulshan, thank you all for making this happen. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Sarah, Abdul Qadir, thank you for being part of this and helping us through this and always partnering with us. Thank you so much, everybody.
We actually did have one hand raised, Anjum, if you, or maybe I missed it.
Sister Goro.
Okay, am I missing it? I don't see it. I don't see a question or a chat.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for going to all the effort to reach out to us. It's not so easy not to be able to go out all the time. I think it's a different world for a while. Last week, Sacramento County had a peer empowerment conference for people who lived all around the county of Sacramento. And they actually, I was very surprised, if you registered for it, they would set up a Grubhub lunch delivery to you. So all the people who wanted lunch delivered to their homes during the conference had lunch delivered. I had no idea that that was possible or feasible, but it might be a good way to support some of our local community restaurants that are having a hard time, and something to think about. It's amazing what people can do when they're motivated. And they had a budget to do it, but it was very interesting. And I can give you their information and they can tell you if it was a nightmare or if it worked out, but I thought it was very nice.
I think Sabah has another question. Sabah has her hand up. Sabah?
Mute. I have a question. There's a lot of seniors who are living on their own. I was wondering if we have a social person who can just go by their door and check on them and knock on their door, see they're okay, emotionally especially. They need to talk to someone for a few minutes. I think that will be a great help for them. You don't have to go into their house, but you can just, keep your distance and just talk to them because not everybody is a phone savvy. They don't know how to dial these numbers. They just have a family numbers. Just like my own parents, they just have my sister's number or my brother's number. If you tell them dial another number, they can't. They get confused. So sometimes I go and stand by the door and say, Mom, are you okay? Is everything good? You need anything? Just to, they're down. They can't go anywhere. They're kind of locked up in their own homes.
We can talk about this, Sabah. We can talk more about this. If there are any volunteers to do this also, we can please come forward. But
okay,
definitely address this and talk about this and see how we can do this.
All right.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for attending. Wonderful questions. And thank you, Masao, for your wonderful presentation. And for all that, every participant that made this our first live webinar very helpful and very successful. Have a wonderful afternoon. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you.